All right, welcome to this explainer. Quick question for you. What is the absolute hardest part of fasting? If you're like most of us, you're probably thinking about those crazy hunger pangs, right? Or the sheer discipline of saying no to snacks, or maybe just staring at the clock waiting for time to pass. But actually, scratch that. Here's the secret that catches so many people completely off guard. The biggest mistake people make when fasting doesn't actually happen during the fast at all. No, it happens the exact moment food touches their mouth again. How you break your fast is the ultimate game changer. It's going to determine whether all of that hard work and intense discipline is going to heal you or severely harm you. See, when you fast, these incredible biological shifts happen. You're resetting your immune system, you're drastically lowering inflammation, and you're activating something called autophagy. That's basically your body's miraculous way of breaking down old, damaged, and even potentially cancerous cells and recycling them into fresh, healthy ones. Because of this massive internal cellular cleanup, your body becomes hypersensitive. It acts literally like a bone-dry sponge. It is primed, ready, and aggressively waiting to soak up absolutely whatever you give it next. So what does this all mean? It means the very first thing you eat isn't just a simple meal. It's either going to act as potent, healing medicine or as absolute poison to your system.
Okay, so let's map out exactly how to break your fast safely. We're going to cover number 1, the 16-8 protocol. Number 2, the OMAD rule. Number 3, the fasting arsenal. Number 4, extended fasting survival. And finally, number 5, toxic fast breakers.
Let's dive into Section 1, the 16-8 protocol, structuring the daily fast.
So for a standard 16-hour daily fast, your very first meal needs to gently wake up your digestive system. You don't want to overwhelm it. You need to confidently check 3 specific boxes: healthy proteins, healthy fats, and veggies. Imagine a really high-quality, mouth-watering chicken salad right in front of you. The chicken gives you clean, stabilizing protein, the mixed greens provide those necessary fibrous veggies, and a nice, heavy drizzle of olive oil adds the perfect healthy fat. It's just a simple, beautifully balanced meal, and it's exactly the kind of gentle restart your sensitive gut is looking for.
Now listen to this, because timing your carbohydrates is absolutely everything. Carbs are definitely not the enemy. But if you dump a huge pile of carbs into your body at lunchtime, right as you break your fast, you're practically guaranteeing major energy issues and massive sluggish crashes for the rest of your afternoon. But here's the cool part. If you save those exact same carbs for nighttime, they actually have an incredibly positive impact on your hormones, and they'll significantly boost your overall sleep quality. Total game changer, right?
Moving on to Section 2, the OMAD rule, perfecting one meal a day.
So when you're compressing your daily nutrition into just one sitting, a lot of OMAD purists on the internet will tell you to aggressively cram all your food into this frantic 30-minute window, like it's some sort of competitive eating contest. Honestly, doing that just slams your hypersensitive gut with way too much volume all at once. It makes things incredibly uncomfortable. Instead, try spreading that single meal out over a nice, relaxed 2-hour timeline. You start eating at 0 minutes, you allow some mid-meal digestion to just happen naturally around that 60-minute mark, and then you finish up comfortably at 120 minutes. It's just far superior and so much gentler on your entire biological system.
And here's a massive pro tip for managing that one meal. The order in which you eat your food matters immensely. Step 1, always eat your fats, proteins, and veggies first. Step 2, you eat your carbohydrates absolutely last. I know, it sounds highly counterintuitive if you're starving and craving some bread or potatoes, but studies clearly show that eating carbs last drastically lowers your glycemic spike. Oh, and one totally vital detail for step 1, those veggies, they absolutely must be steamed. Raw veggies are simply way too tough for a fasting gut to break down. Steaming makes them perfectly easy to digest.
Which brings us to Section 3, the fasting arsenal, foods that heal.
To truly master fasting, you've got to stock up on your ultimate protein powerhouses. We're talking grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, chicken, turkey, eggs, and a really good bone broth. When you consume these high-quality proteins to break your fast, you're achieving 3 incredible things right out of the gate. First, you instantly stabilize your blood sugar. Second, you turn off your body's stress hormones. And third, you actively prevent muscle loss while supporting a highly functional metabolism and brain.
Next up in your arsenal, the healthy fats. You really want to prioritize things like avocado, olive oil, grass-fed butter or ghee, coconut oil, and fatty fish. These fats are deeply nourishing for a recovering digestive system. But hey, strict warning here. Avoid vegetable oils altogether.
There is just so much controversy surrounding them, and honestly, there is zero reason to risk irritating your delicate system with highly processed vegetable oils when you have this amazing natural list of healthy fats right at your fingertips.
Okay, I need you to pay really close attention to this next warning. You literally cannot skip your electrolytes. When you're fasting, your body aggressively flushes out vital minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium. If you neglect to replenish those, your brain is quite literally going to shut down on you. You're going to get hit with severe, debilitating brain fog, nasty migraines, and just relentless muscle twitches. Taking your electrolytes is a strict, non-negotiable part of executing a safe and effective fast.
All right, Section 4, Extended Fasting Survival. 24 to 48 hours and 3 to 7 day fasts.
When we start talking about longer 24 to 48-hour fasts, the biological stakes are just infinitely higher. You need a very gentle, multi-step reintroduction process here. Step 1, start with something incredibly simple to digest. Think bone broth and some eggs. Step 2, you must wait 30 to 60 minutes. Just sit back, relax, and let your body process that initial signal that food is finally returned. Then Step 3, have a light meal of those approved proteins, fats, and steamed veggies. Listen, if you rush this process, your highly sensitive hormones, like ghrelin, which controls hunger, leptin, which signals fullness, and insulin, they'll basically go nuts and spike dangerously out of control. Now, if you've gone even further, say an extreme 3 to 7 day water fast, you absolutely require a strict multi-phase 3-day refeeding protocol. Let's walk through it. On day 1, keep it exceptionally light. Bone broth, fermented foods, and maybe a really light bone broth-based stew. Small portions are totally key here. On day 2, you can safely increase your portions of healthy fats and proteins, but still, absolutely zero sugar. No way. It isn't until day 3 that you can safely start introducing carbohydrates again. And ideally, you're doing that through low-glycemic, highly nutritious fruits like strawberries, raspberries, or blueberries. You probably caught that fermented foods were a huge deal on day 1. There is a vital scientific reason for that. During a long, extended fast, your digestion essentially just shuts down, and your body actively kills off old bacterial species, yeast, fungus, and even potential parasites. You're left with this beautifully clean slate. So fermented foods are your absolute secret weapon here. Because they are packed to the brim with enzymes and probiotics, they swoop right in and beautifully repopulate your freshly reset gut microbiome with all the essential good guys.
All right, final part. Section 5, Toxic Fast Breakers. What to avoid completely.
We've got to talk about the foods that act as literal poison right now. Immediately after a fast, your raw survival instinct might be screaming at you for massive amounts of carbs. A lot of people naturally reach for breads, pastas, bagels, or even things they mistakenly think are super healthy, like a massive fruit juice or a giant smoothie. Please, do not do this. Remember, your cells are currently acting like those bone-dry sponges we talked about, and your insulin is extremely, dangerously sensitive. Flooding your system with these sugary items will cause violent blood sugar and insulin spikes that'll instantly undo all that deep cellular cleaning you just worked so hard to achieve.
And the danger definitely doesn't stop at sugar. You've got to completely and entirely avoid alcohol, greasy fried foods, those controversial vegetable oils, and any highly processed carbs. If you break your fast by giving into that primal urge to crush an entire pizza or a huge burger and fries, you are actively driving massive inflammation straight into your newly cleansed, incredibly delicate gut lining. Your body's going to panic, it'll start retaining massive amounts of fluid, and instead of staying in that wonderful fat-burning state, it will immediately shift into an aggressive fat storage mode. It is just not worth it, guys.
Which brings us to the ultimate provocative question you have to ask yourself every single time you end a fast. Will your next meal be the potent medicine that heals you for months to come, or the toxic poison that instantly sets you back? Look, breaking your fast correctly requires immense discipline, but that single act of discipline sets the entire stage for your overall health, your inflammation levels, and your metabolism for the next week, the next month, and the next year. Choose the medicine. Thanks for joining me on This Explainer, and I absolutely can't wait to see you next time.